Hi and hello, Watch fans, and welcome back to Chronopolis Radio, hosted by The Real Time Show, with me, Rob Nuds, and our friendly neighbourhood jeweller, Alon Ben Joseph. Right now, we are joined by Robin Talendier of Atelier Wen, calling in from, where are you in the world, Robin?
In somewhere very exotic called Paris. Yes, yeah. You may have not heard of it, like a very, very small place, uncommon, unusual. Not traveling this time, at home for once.
So it's at home, you are French, but the
Yeah.
Atelier Wen brand is Chinese. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, no, exactly. So Atelier Wen, I would say, is a Franco-Chinese brand. It was born out of my love for vintage Chinese watches initially, and of like Wilfried's also strong interest in Chinese culture, because Wilfried is also born and raised in China, despite being French. So he also does feel strongly. He still lives in Asia. I don't, but I go there often. So yeah, Atelier Wen kind of sits at the crossroad, but our focus has always been, celebrating Chinese culture and craftsmanship. Because at the end of the day, this is what we care about and this is what we like. And we wanted to do something that we actually enjoyed and liked.
So how's it going? It's been quite some time now since you burst onto the scene with your Guilloche dials, and there's been many evolutions since, right?
Yeah, quite a few. So it's going well. Last year we released 2 new series, which for us was an unprecedented volume of novelties. It was also like quite the sort of bet for us, because those were watches that were quite different, both in terms of style, in terms of execution. They were a bit more maybe bold in some aspects, but we were quite happy with that. It was definitely a lot of work, but we went through it, and I think we did okay out of that, which was nice. Also, it seems that you quite like the Ancestra, so it's always a good sign when it's approved by Rob. So yeah, no, they're doing pretty well. Now the big focus for us, of course, is to, I think we still have like a range and a collection to build up. For many years, Atelier Wen was just 3 products. It was Perception Salmon, Perception Blue, Perception Grey, and yeah, we did almost 3 years just with those 3 watches. So there's a deficit. We launched the first Ancestras, we launched the first Inflection. We still have those 3 Perception, but yeah, we need to build up that to extend the range and to keep on offering cool stuff and on still being on our toes. So that's a challenge. And yeah, hopefully there'll be quite a few novelties this year that goes in that sense. And yeah, that I hope will surprise people, and that you will also like, especially you, Rob.
I didn't just like the Ancestra, it bamboozled me. I don't know how you did it still. I find it extremely beguiling. It's one of the most amazing achievements I've seen from a brand still relatively in its infancy. And maybe I shouldn't be so surprised given where you started with the perception. But talking of perception, what is the perception of the brand now with its Franco-Chinese character? Are people warming up to it in China itself, or is that still taking some time?
I think it surprised people at the beginning when we pushed the French movements, because beforehand our stance was to be 100% made in China. It was almost an ideological stand, like things needed to be done in China. And I remember at some point we used Super Luminova loom, and we wrote a wall of text explaining why we couldn't source the loom in China, and basically we were apologizing for failing our mission. I think though, as we took a stance, as we matured, we realized that there were things we couldn't just right now do in China, and we realized that the focus should, first and foremost, like trying to continuously elevate the watches. And in doing so, we also try to do it in a way that makes sense for us. And I think it was interesting to bring forward the French side of the brand, because it still is a Franco-Chinese brand. So people were a little shocked at the beginning, but I still felt that eventually the acceptance was great, and I could see the value is this, well, not newly found identity, but like newly re-put forward kind of identity. I think people quite like that. In mainland China itself, like we still don't operate like directly in terms of presence and retail, because the ecosystem in mainland China is quite complex. It's not the same channels. It's not the same, even the same kind of content that works. So you can't just cross post what works on Instagram or on TikTok, or the Western TikTok will not work on Xiaohongshu or Douyin. Also, people don't really do .com e-commerce there. You need to be on those platforms like JD, like Tmall. So we still haven't taken the step. I think every year we say that this year we'll do it, but then we end up not doing it. So I really hope that this year we'll do it, but who knows, maybe in 1 year I'll tell you exactly the same thing. But what we could see, so we have retailers in China, we have 3 of them, one in Shanghai, one in Beijing, one in Shenzhen. We could see that the Ancestra particularly did much better than any other watches we've ever done. And yeah, the retailers did really pretty well with it. So I think it shows that people accept it, or that our retailer is insanely good, one or the other, or both.
I love the fact that you guys mixed it up by really bridging the East and West by at a certain point introducing Pekinier French-made calibers. How was that received on both ends of the spectrum? So both cultures.
Yeah, so I think in China they liked it, but they liked it, I think, I would say, for 2 reasons. The first one is that the way people see us in China is really of a cultural bridge, and because we're 2 foreigners, I mean, yeah, okay, sure, Wilfried on the paper, it is of I mean, he has the Hong Kong passport, so on the paper he's Chinese, but then his 2 parents are French, so we were still two foreigners. But so people always saw us like that in China, and I think they thought that it's a coherent move. I think what also they liked was the fact that despite the movement not being Chinese, we still worked on shaping it in a way that's relevant and coherent with our mission of celebrating Chinese culture. So I don't know if you remember, but we etched this an extract from a long piece of poetry, which is very traditional, very old, very profound. And yeah, okay, it's a French movement from Pekinier, but there's still Chinese culture to it. In regards to non-Chinese collectors, I think it was received really well, especially in the US, which is our stronghold in terms of market. We could see that Ancestra did really nicely. Surprisingly, it also did okay in France. We haven't been very, very present or active in France, and I think the use of the Pekinier movement had a very positive effect with local audiences. Pekinier has a really good image in France, and they deserve it, because what they do is really great, and they are really the only ones actually developing, fully making movements in France, and the last one. So a lot of people admire their mission. So yeah, we got a few people that purchased the watch because of the Pekinier movement. They didn't know about us. They didn't really care about the Chinese aspect, but they liked the fact that we used the Pekinier movement and decorated it in an unusual way.
What novelties are you launching at Chronopolis this year?
Oh, I can't say. There's an embargo. Hey. No, but it's...
Robin, just to let you know, this episode's going out during Chronopolis, so the embargo will be lifted, so you can talk freely.
Our embargo runs till end of May. So sorry, I should have specified.
Right. So I'll ask that question again, and we'll just. You're on mute.
Robin, will you launch new models at Chronopolis?
So we will be soft unveiling new models that are meant to launch around the end of May. Those new watches that we'll be showing are in tune with what I've just told you in terms of what are the goals in expanding the lineup. So we will have some perception novelties. It's really been a long time since we released a core sort of evergreen perception. So we'll have that. We'll also have some sneak peeks of what's coming up next for Ancestra, and if the prototypes are ready, maybe of inflection. But I don't think that'll be okay. So yeah, we will have something new for perception and a bit of a preview for Ancestra.
So dear listeners that are listening, go don't push soft, push hard for Robin to show you what's coming.
Ah, they should come brain me with wine.
Well, there'll be plenty of wine, won't there, because of the happy hour? Was that your idea?
No, where is the alcohol? My idea. I think that was your idea. I think you're like a secret consultant of Chronopolis.
I am available for hire if they want some advice on drinking. Yeah. Wine. Yeah, well, wine. No, just drinking in general. I don't discriminate, as long as it's coming in a glass, I'm quite happy. Talk to me about the other innovations that Chronopolis have made in addition to this daily happy hour, which I'm sure everyone's going to enjoy very much.
So there's a lot of like nice things about Chronopolis. When Baltic, Furlan, Space One, and ourselves decided that we needed to do something else this year for Geneva, and when we were thinking about what could be a great event, like we had this kind of like ultimate wish list of what we felt was missing in the Beau Rivage and what we felt we would want. And one of the things was actually getting very, very decent light. And so it was like the Heist Out team, like we really scored like a long time for what could be the perfect venue. And the one we all together managed to find, which is in Leal de Lille, is perfect because it's literally in the middle of the water, so everyone gets light. There's no building that's gonna be hiding your window. There's none of that. Whether you're on the left, on the right, in the middle, well, you have light. And I think, as silly as it sounds, this is really like a big plus and a big innovation. It's not gonna be a poorly dimly lit room where you can't really see watches, which I guess is really the main point of those events. There's going to be plenty of light that are going to put the watches in a very nice standing. The other thing as well is that we'll be having extended hours for press and other sort of like professional visitors. So I'm not sure if it's good news for the teams that are exhibiting, because we'll be starting at 8 a.m. But actually, I think it is. So yeah, we will be there like from early on till like pretty late, which means that hopefully we can catch people like before the main shows or after the main shows, or just people who are like en route. And this way, we can show to more people.
I thought he was going to say decent. He took a pause, and I thought he's going to say alcohol. Decent alcohol. But that's why there is going to be decent alcohol, because it's long hours. But I think it's a brilliant idea, because for me as a retailer, I'll start off my day at Chronopolis and then head out to the airport area for the other fairs. And for the decent alcohol, I'm back for the happy hours every day.
Perfect.
No,
Perfect.
It really does make it like it makes it a central cultural meeting point for the week, which, to be honest, it might be the first time that shall we say a pirate event, I think that's fair enough, on the back of Watches and Wonders has done that. And if I were Watches and Wonders, I'd be quite concerned, to be honest, because I think everyone's going to be itching to get back to Chronopolis rather than hanging around the airport. So I'm very much looking forward to making it our de facto base throughout the week. And I feel like that's going to be the feeling of many other journalists and also collectors. You can't understate the importance of that light, though, Robin. I mean, I remember the first time I went to the British Watchmakers' Day held in Lindley Hall in London. The response of the visitors was incredible. They'd never seen watches presented in such a beautiful, natural way. Having that flux of light is, I think, a huge advantage and will change the whole feeling of the fair, because you know what people say after a week in Expo: breathe in recycled air, artificial lights, it's a drain on the body. This is going to be quite the opposite. It'll be a celebration of watchmaking.
Oh, thanks. I hope so. People will enjoy it this way. We all really worked hard. I mean, mostly the Heist Out team like worked super hard in organizing that. We were just the instigators with the other brands, but then it's really their work. But yeah, I feel people will I hope people will see it this way, and I hope Alan will get the decent alcohol to survive this week of slavery.
No,
It doesn't feel like slavery in the run up to this event. It really doesn't. It feels like something quite different. I think because of the way that the event's been pulled together. I think the fact that you were involved in the creation of the event, that you were able to offer ideas and will still be able to offer feedback, after this event and looking ahead to next year's. Do you have any ideas of things you would like to see in the future from Chronopolis itself or an event like it?
So the two of you mentioned something as Chronopolis being the place where people want to hang around, the place where people want to chill. I think that's really the main goal and that we have and the main effect that we want to create. A place where just people can float and which can be a sort of like hub. And in a way, that's the feeling we first had. Like the first time we went to the Beau Rivage, I remember I first went there in 2022. So I hadn't even launched Perception. Obviously, didn't have any budget to exhibit, but I would just spend my days there in the lobby, and I would meet people. Kind of like floating around, and we could see that year on year that sort of stayed, and that benefited everyone. Even the people who exhibit. At the end of the day, that brings in more people, whether that's people who want to buy watches, people who want to cover you, people who want to write about you, who want to distribute you, or just people that you could chat with and have a nice moment. So yeah, that's really the thing that we want to build on, creating that sort of hub and a floating, chilling space for the entire watch week.
A floating, chilling space. Now that is a cool way to promote
Pardon
this.
my French. So some of the stuff maybe don't make sense. It's you need to know. It's not our national sport. The foreign languages.
I think that it's brilliant. I think that maybe we should always consult people with different native languages when it comes to creating these creative taglines, because that one's going to stick in my head for a while. We should put that on a t-shirt. No, I loved it. And Robin, thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you there on the floating, chilling space in the middle of Geneva and sharing a glass of wine and many great conversations about the watches you'll be bringing with you.
Likewise, see you soon, and thank you so much for having me today.